Hey everybody, just want to ask you a simple question. Why do you work today? The reason that you're working is so you can provide income for yourself, your family, and meet your needs and your goals. Ideally, what we want to do is we want to work and earn enough cash to meet all our needs and obligations and things we want to do with our lives. That's why they say cash is king. So when we spend the cash we earn and we extract the best value from that cash, what's the best way to do that? Do we spend the money yesterday, so we're paying back debts of things that we've already bought? Do we spend the money today on expenses such as insurances that we need for our home and auto, heat bill, light bill, cable, all those things? Or do we spend the money on tomorrow, which is saving and providing for our future? For very broad purposes, we can use a rule of thumb here. What you'd like to see is about 50% of the money you spend today should be spent on the things you need today. So paying for your bills, your mortgage, your gasoline, your food, groceries, clothing, all those normal things. Following that, what you'd like to see is about 25% of your money go towards things that you've already purchased, so paying for yesterday. Could be your education, so you're paying off your student loan. And 25% of the money should be going towards your future, saving, putting something in place so that you can have a better, brighter future and achieve those long-term goals that you're looking for. Now, the clients that I consult with typically start very far away from here. Ordinarily, we're more likely to see a much bigger piece of the pie. I don't know how well you can see that, but a much bigger piece of the pie typically is spent on yesterday with Canadians in general. And obviously you can see right here that the amount spent for tomorrow shrinks proportionally because today's costs are typically mostly fixed other than the latte factor or going out for dinner too much. We have bills, we have to pay for gas, we have to buy groceries, we have all the normal things that generally aren't going to change. There's some flexibility there. By and large, though, they're not that much of a saver in terms of where you can get more cash and extract more value. What we're doing here is we're paying off all those debts from yesterday. This typically takes up closer to half of our normal spend. If you look at your bills, if you do some budgeting and you see that you're paying off credit cards, especially lines of credit, those are the things that suck away the value from our ability to spend money in a more meaningful and powerful way. Let's talk about debt a little bit because this is actually very important. Do you believe that there's such a good thing as good debt? Because there is. Two requirements for debt to be considered good debt, okay? Low interest. So it's not costing you a lot. We call it cheap debt. A great example of that is a mortgage. The cheapest money you will ever borrow, most likely other than from mom or dad, is going to be mortgage debt because the interest rates on a mortgage are so low, and that's because the value is secured with the home. We know that. What's the other thing that's really important to count a debt as a good debt as opposed to a bad debt? Is that it appreciates. So an easy way to think of this would be that you have a house, you pay off, it's got a low rate, but in time, the value of the asset will appreciate. So your home will be worth more in 25 years than it is worth today. That's the whole basis of investing in real estate. So that's a good debt. An example that doesn't meet this would be an automobile, as an example. So yes, we can get very low interest rates in automobiles. The second you drive a vehicle off the lot, it goes down in value. If you go to sell your truck or your car, in the future, you're gonna get less money for it than you paid for it. That's almost inevitable. Classics aside, those weird one-off things that happen. A motorcycle might actually be an example of a good debt. If you buy a motorcycle and it appreciates in value, because I know that's a very niche and specialty market. The things we want to get away from and what I help my clients with when I start, part one, is cash flow, getting rid of the bad debts. Often I'll actually incorporate bad debt into good debt. So you refinance your mortgage. Of course, you're going to have a longer term to pay that off, but you're paying it off with much lower interest rate than if you're paying 19 or 25% on a credit card. So part one, manage your cash flow. Think about where you're spending your money. Take a look at what you're spending. How much of it is paying off yesterday's debts? How much is saving for tomorrow? So I hope you learned a little bit today about what good debt is, what bad debt is, and why it's important to think about that in two different ways. I also hope that you learned that cash is king and cash flow will make all the difference. And what you want to do is free up your cash flow. Get more dollars available to you to spend wherever you need to spend them in the proper ways that add the most value and excitement and happiness to your life. Take care, thanks for watching, and have a great day.